I had a minor pedantic question, but I noticed the dashes in this book were lined up in such a way so that they matched the paragraph marks.
Yeah,
Was that your doing?
No,
or?
you know what that was? I'll tell you exactly what that was. That was a big, fat. Yeah, this was a. I got this. This is not because I'm super cool. This is because they're prescription.
Yeah.
That was a typesetting fuck up, is what that
Really?
was. They
Okay.
they blew it in the whole book, and nobody caught it. Nobody caught it. We didn't. It was in the notes, the proofed manuscript.
Yeah.
And for some reason, when we got the typeset, they give you a sample sheaf of typeset pages that show you all the different different types for the book. And for some reason, neither my editor or I caught it. And the first time I cracked the book, I went, "Wait a minute, that looks weird.
Yeah.
Why does that look a
I
little
thought
bit
that
wrong?"
was a deliberate effort. It's like, no, this is now a new Charlie Huston novel. Suddenly, okay.
No, it just slipped through the cracks.
I must also ask you, when Webb punches someone late in the book, he's quick to point out that it wasn't like a bone-crunching roundhouse that would have made the Duke proud. He is then hit by this figure, who I won't name, I don't want to spoil the book, later with a roundhouse the Duke would have been proud of. Why is the Duke the standard with which to gauge all punches? And seeing as how he's a young man, and Rambo is mentioned earlier, I must quibble to some degree as to why you chose John Wayne over all other cinematic legends.
Well, okay, so first off, Webb does not reference Rambo. The character who hits him references Rambo. So that's his frame of reference. And Webb makes a comment when he first observes this character that he assumes that this guy has acquired his physical style from watching too many Tom Cruise movies. So that and Webb says that disparagingly, which should kind of put us in frame of mind. Webb grew up in a household, in a movie-making household, and with a father who drove him around town, showing him the high points of where classic movies were filmed from all eras. So clearly he's got a background in cinematic history. Well, I think it's safe to assume that he's watched a fair amount of John Ford, John Wayne films.
But he's also resistant to those movies as well, which is why it's interesting.
I don't know how resistant he is to them. Anyway, if John Wayne is not the measuring stick by which all full range, just open arm, haymaking, roundhouse punches is to be measured by, I don't know who is. I mean, he was the master of the art. You don't think of John Wayne and think of him as a rabbit punch or a jab or anything like that. John Wayne is leaning back, loading up, and letting loose all the way. So I could not possibly think, if I wanted to evoke that kind of punch, anybody other than John Wayne would come to mind.
Did you even try to think of an alternative?
No, it was the first thing that came into my head, and it was right. That's the John Wayne punch. That's the roundhouse haymaker. That's him, man, without a doubt. I wouldn't even bother.
Have you tried the John Wayne punch in any capacity, or?
Maybe when I was 13, I might have loaded up like that in a school guard fight and then been hit about 5 or 6 times before you can get it around. They move slow. It's a movie house punch. You can't get away with that in the real thing.
The fact is it's a movie punch because it's generally done so you don't hit the chin and the camera shoots it at a particular level. Yeah. So it's kind of a bullshit punch, actually. When you think of
absolutely. It's also a movie punch because it telegraphs and it reads great. The guy rears back, he loads up, and then he lets loose. So it photographs well.